Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. This is another in my Triple H series, the Honoring Handhelds, and I'm once again unboxing. The last Triple H video I did, I was unboxing there, and now I've got a new item that I want to open up here. This was something I hadn't ever really thought of getting, but I saw Mark on Classic Game Room talked about a Game & Watch game that really impressed me. And that's sort of what we have here. It's not exactly. Now, I've done videos about Game & Watch games before. I've got that excellent Game & Watch gallery on the Game Boy Advance. And it's excellent, and I really like the games in there. This is not among those. And when I saw this particular Game & Watch on Classic Game Room, I was really impressed. I thought, wow, for what is basically very old school LCD technology, they really did something impressive with this. So yeah, kind of interested in getting one, but as Mark pointed out, they are super expensive, so I hadn't really thought of getting it. Then I saw that there is a re-release of it, and it goes for actually pretty decent money. And it was on Amazon, and I thought, yeah, what the heck, let's pick it up. So I'm going to open it up here and try it out. Don't think I need that little letter opener after all. Yeah, here it is. It's Super Mario Brothers, and it's a Game & Watch game. However, it's actually a little keychain, like it's a very small little handheld game. What this is, they released a bunch of these, I want to say like 10 years ago, as part of the Nintendo Mini Classics collection. There's quite a few of this variety. You've got what is it now? Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. and Mario's Cement Factory. But this one, Super Mario Brothers, I was really impressed watching Mark play it. Now, let me just open this thing up, put in the batteries, which I'm hoping are included. If not, I've got some. And I'll show you why I thought this was so impressive. And as per usual, this is actually what I need this cutter for. These new kinds of packages are impossible to open. Alright, so that's that top off. Now we can at least get into the darn thing. Still working my way through this thing. Here we go. There it is. Wow, geez, that was impossible. Alright, so there is the Game & Watch Super Mario Brothers machine. It's got a little pull tab here, which will make the battery work. Let's just have a look at it first, though. Well, this is kind of nice. Like, you've even got a little kickstand thing here, so you can set it down on like a table, and it can still work as a watch. And feels pretty decent. You know, the D-pad on there is really nice. And of course, it's got a game and alarm mode, like it is very much that original Game & Watch. But now you've got it. Just a little keychain you can play, you know, hang it on your belt, I guess. All right, well, let's pull the tab out and try out the game. Okay, so kind of kicked it into life here. It was very hard to get any kind of activity happening here, but at least I've got all the different. The entire LCD screen is now lit up here. So there we go, and we're in demo mode. So. If you can make it out there, you've got Mario actually jumping over his platforms, and that's what I really like about this thing. It's essentially just a grid of platforms and walls and stuff like that. But what they did with this compilation, or with this particular Game & Watch game, the original as well, is they made a variety of different things for Mario to jump up on, or to jump around, or to cause... if you can imagine, there's some of these in like the 4 cardinal directions, up, down, left, right, and that works like a spinning wheel kind of thing that Mario has to jump around on. Very cool. Let's give this a try. Get that out of the way because it's distracting me. Let's try a game. So let's go with this. There we go. So this is a little bit of, oh, what'd I do? A little bit of an endless runner. Oh, I guess I only had so much time to do this. Like an endless runner, this thing. I want to get across the screen. Yeah, that can't be it. Maybe there's something wrong with this thing. Try it again. Well, I do see a timer up at the top. Oh, I died. Darn it. Okay, here we go. Oh, I died. Shoot. But it is nice it's even got like the Mario theme and everything else. I mean, you gotta hand it. This is for what is essentially an LCD screen. Sorry. I'm trying to play and talk at the same time, which is never a good combo. Huh, very cool. Alright, let's try another one here. Okay, I'm really, really bad at this. But very impressive though. You've got like an entire landscape here made out of just LCD components. That's very impressive. Okay, tell you what. I'm going to play a little bit, and then I'm going to show you what this thing can really do, because I'm just terrible at this initial playthrough here. Okay, I've had a little bit more practice here now. You can see I've been at it for 8 minutes. Yeah, there's several different worlds in this thing. I got to level 5, which is pretty cool. So, I'm going to try this again, and apologies that the lighting is not ideal for showing off the LCD screen, but that's sort of what I've got to work with here. Anyway, let's have a go. So, the first level, you're jumping everywhere. And then another level, you do have those cardinal directions which you want to get around. And then another level, you're not jumping. It's kind of like looking down on a map, a Legend of Zelda type thing. Anyway, let me try a couple here, and I'll hope I can get through this without too much trouble. You can see here, I'm basically just jumping on each of these platforms. And that score does go down, but it's okay if it reaches 0. Yeah, it's a weird combination of like hit the jump and hit to the side in order to avoid that happening. Let's try it again. So I reach about the end here, and there'll be a bird or something that I have to get to finish the level. That's kind of my objective, is to reach the bird. And I think there's like a moving platform near him, so you got to time it well. There's the bird. Now you see how there's that moving platform there? So you got to move, get on the moving platform. There we go. Pretty cool. This is level 2, and this one has those cardinal direction things I was talking about. See that? So now I got a little bit of a maze to jump around in. I should have jumped up on the top there. There we go. So yes, quite a bit of strategy in oh shit, in addition to quite a bit of strategy in comparison to just the action portion. Let's try one more level here, or one more go. Alright, so I've just repositioned the camera here and made the lighting a bit better so you can make out Mario more clearly. There's a lot going on this tiny little screen, so I'm going to try and play some more. Couple points. First of all, that little timer thing that's up in the corner, that's not really a timer so much, it's the distance between you and the end of the maze. And at the end of the maze is not a bird like I originally thought. It's actually Princess Peach. It's not very clear because, again, this is a very tiny screen. I mean, look at my thumbnail. Like it's a very, very condensed version of the Game & Watch game, and I couldn't make out that that was actually Princess Peach along the edge here. So I'm going to have another go. I've noticed also if at certain points a little mushroom will sometimes appear, and if I hit that, I actually get an extra life, a 1-up if you will. So let's give this another try. I'm going to try and play this carefully and give my final thoughts. Ah, darn it. So there's Princess Peach, actually. Still say it looks like a bird. Level 2. This is where those cardinal 4-directional things are. And go and meet with Princess Peach. I want to avoid these spinning blades. And this is that one I said. It's a little bit like a Legend of Zelda map. You don't jump in this one, at least not toward the end. You just want to go. Apparently, this is supposed to be water gushing from right to left. And Mario just wants to keep away from getting crushed against the back wall. It is amazing the number of different levels. Like I checked on YouTube, people who have gotten farther than me on this game. It's amazing the different maze types and spinning obstacles that they came up with on this Game & Watch game. So this is one really complex, probably the most complicated Game & Watch game I've ever played. And the challenge level is fantastic. Really, really recommend this one. Now we're about to reach the end of this, and then I will be back to jumping. So I'm going to get my finger back on the jump button in a second here. Here we go. So now it switches back to a jumping mode. Yeah, just absolutely incredible what they've done with this game. Considering it's just grids. See, now you got even more complicated mazes to run through. I am really impressed. I cannot stress enough just how incredibly complicated this is for a Game & Watch game. I mean, this is pseudo Game Boy level complexity here. Ah. Well, I think what I might do, because this is just going to get harder and harder, I'm just going to die here. I don't think there's like a pause menu or anything. Oh, there we go. Game over anyway. Yeah, there are like lots and lots of levels in this thing. It's really, really amazing. Now, I would almost recommend, if you, in any way, like if you go to a retro store or some gaming convention or something like that, and you see this Game & Watch, like the actual Game & Watch itself, I'd almost recommend you go for it because it is bigger and you kind of need to see those details better. I mean, it was, as I say, I thought Princess Peach was a bird at first. However, what I will say in support of this one, not only the size factor, but also I find this D-pad is really, really good. I mean, Nintendo know their D-pads. The Game & Watch actually had 4 buttons in directions, so I think I prefer a D-pad. It's easier to rock. Now, I've only had this for a day, and you can see I've already scratched up the surface here. So the actual plastic is a little bit weak, and actually on that very subject, this little kickstand is super flimsy, so you don't want to be really resting on it too heavily there. But one really nice thing that I have found is if I wanted to, I was checking the batteries on this, and I'll say why in a second, but I do find that if I loosen the battery compartment here and just open it up so that it's quite loose, one benefit of that is that it actually tends to shut the screen off. Like it's kind of like an on-off button. These things, because they were considered watches, they don't really have an off button. People figured that, no, you're going to be wanting to see what time it is. So none of these things really had an off button. And the nice thing is I can just leave the screw in that kind of position there, and it'll act as an off button, which is kind of handy. However, one other thing, if you do take that battery part, take that hatch off so you can get to the batteries, this thing really is in there very, very loosely and would break quite easily. So that's something worth noting. Oops, we gotta see him put too much pressure on it. There we go. Yeah, the battery thing is also important because I already posted a video about this, another LCD game I've got, Speed Freak. And there's a link to that video. I had left the batteries in there. They do take the same types of batteries. I left the batteries in there, and I think after 6 months or so, it just eventually died. It eventually didn't work anymore. So these batteries can be left in, and the machine just left on all the time, like a watch. But it's only going to last like 6 months or so, and I don't know how many times I'm going to be playing this. This Speed Freak, I didn't really end up playing it that often, and so for the batteries just eventually die wasn't very, very good. So Just worth noting, if you have an option like I do with this, where if I leave the battery compartment a little open there to actually disconnect power, that's a good way to save battery life. Yeah, so there it is, the mini collection version of the Game & Watch Super Mario Brothers game. Really, really amazing. Just the level of detail and the complexity of the game in a tiny little package. I mean, like I say, it fits in the palm of your hand. It's great. And before I go, I also wanted to just briefly mention I was in discussion with there's a great YouTuber, Jerian. I think it starts with a G. I think that's Jerian79. Put a link to his channel down below. He is the man who knows everything about these little handhelds. I mean, he covers LCD ones, Game & Watches. What are the glowy blue ones? Is that UHV, VHF? I don't know. The ones that glow blue, like my Bambino UFO Master. His channel, he does a lot of coverage of these things, and he knows these machines really, really well. I was discussing with him, I'm very, very happy to have this mini classics version of Super Mario Brothers. And I also mentioned it's too bad the Legend of Zelda one is so expensive. I mean, the thing goes for like $100, and I'm talking the mini classics, not the original Game Boy, Game & Watch, which goes for hundreds and hundreds. He actually pointed out a website, and again, I'll put a link to the one that he mentioned down below. A seller out of, I think it's Italy, who has the Legend of Zelda Game & Watch Mini Classics version for a pretty reasonable price. I think 40 euros, which is still a little bit high for what I would like to pay for it, but I do think that's not a bad price. That's sort of what they were when they were hanging on the store shelves, and I'm very much appreciative of Jerian79 for pointing me in the direction of that seller. So a link to Jerian's channel down below, and also where you can get the Legend of Zelda for 40 euros down below. And yeah, in the meantime, I'm just going to really, really enjoy this Super Mario Brothers machine, because this is great. All right, well, until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.